Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday, back to represent. Two dudes with attitudes, yeah, here comes the main event. Every week it's the dudes from the east and the west, breaking down everything you've seen and the best of the best. Came together on TikTok, hit it off from the jump, now they never gon' stop. Shooting Star, PRS, you can hit the follow. My wrestling opinion is someone you should all know, and they call him MWO. Yeah, it's rich on the flow, and I thought you should know. Two dudes in the mood that be dropping the jewels. This is not for the fools, this is just how we do. Talking WWE, no one is touching the team. Cool, calm, collected, the methods will be. You can hit the 5 stars when it's time to rate on whatever platforms. Two dudes, get it straight, yeah.
Even though that song's banging, I got the swerve when I drive, because we were just talking about a swerve when I drive. So I'm gonna do that dance to our song every single time.
You should,
swerve
every time.
When I drive. Swerve. I used to hate that dude, but now I'm loving him. Anyway, welcome to another edition of Two Dudes with Attitudes of Wrestling podcast. It is WWE Day, so welcome back, y'all. Everyone who's tuning in or watching the replays, we thank you all. And as always, I am the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO. And with me, as always, is the king of the gingers, Sami Zayn's real father, the honorary dude, Mr. Shooting Star Press. What's going on, my man?
We are back. We took a week off last week, or I did. Went on a cruise and went to see beautiful Bermuda. And then I came back and was diagnosed with COVID-19. So I'm in solitary confinement right now at my house, and so if I sound a little sniffly or my congested, that's why. But
man,
still had plenty of time to watch a lot of WWE.
That's true. And just so y'all know, if you go on a cruise, you get COVID. That's just like
guaranteed.
So
yeah,
I actually predicted it.
You get. I texted you that. I was like, you predict. I get wrestling predictions right. You get life predictions right because you call.
Heck yeah. I just knew. I have not met one person who's gone on a cruise who did not come back with COVID. It's just how it works, man. Just one person gets it, you're all stuck in a ship together. Obviously, that goes with any sickness. You're gonna get it. It's just gonna spread, and COVID spreads. So. But, you know, hopefully you're okay. You look good. You know what I mean? When I had COVID, I loved it. I was thinning out. It was a nice time for me to lose some weight, throwing up and having a cough and not eating.
I have lost about 5 pounds this week. So I'm feeling
good. Look at you. Yeah. Look at you. Oh, so anyway, we are back and we got a big show to talk about. We got a lot of things going on. Who's this? KO. Hi, I'm a big fan. I was your 3rd subscriber. I know who that is. What's up, KO?
What's up, KO?
My man. He's a big fan. I love it.
I'm sure
the fact that he was able to write all that. He's probably eating a turkey sandwich right now and enjoying life. Anyway, let's get the show going. Let's start with Smackdown. You ready?
Yes, sir.
By the way, really quick, I just want to say, really quick on this podcast, I said it on TikTok. We haven't done one yet. I went to Raw, the past Raw, not this one, the one before that. I was there live. Crowd was insane. It was like an AEW crowd. Literally, it was super loud. People, stop saying Dirty Dom's boos are piped in. I was there live. I could not. It's not his mic. It's not anything. Those boos are legit. The people next to me were booing. Everybody there was booing. People hate Dominik Mysterio. He got booed. I couldn't even hear. I was trying to talk to my boy about it. I couldn't even hear. And, oh, there it is. Yeah, Patrick's there. Yeah. It was insane. Patrick was there with me, and I was dressed as Dirty Dom. I even got some boos because I was throwing up my arms and praising that I was, doing my thing. Remember, just like 3rd subscriber and Patrick, the other original fans of, Two Dudes, I'm the original Dirty Dom fan. So you can. I got receipts. I got receipts. So dude is killing it, and we're gonna talk about him. He had a roller coaster of love type of week, but Smackdown, we're going to go quick because we've moved on. It's been a while since we did it, but I wanted to talk about an odd pairing. The WWE kind of has a theme right now of odd pairings, just putting people together, but this one is actually working, and that is Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Grayson Waller kind of came over. He was awesome in NXT, a great villain, knew how to work the mic. They brought him over, and you were kapoots with them. They didn't know what they were doing with them. The Grayson Waller effect was boring. And they haven't really done much with them. And now they're kind of getting them there. And they decided to pair him up with a guy who had just lost the U.S. title, who had a kind of a sad U.S. title reign. but who's also killing it on the mic right now. And I actually thought outdid The Rock on The Rock's return, and that's Mr. Austin Theory. And I think this is a good pairing. I think it's working. They look vicious. They're not making them look like punks. And, you know, Grayson Waller had a pretty good Grayson Waller effect with Bobby Lashley. Then they go into Theory versus Grimes, and Theory gets a big win against, Cameron Grimes. I know it's not a huge name, but a win's a win. And I think it's nice to kind of build a new tag team up in the tag team division. And these two dudes, I think, fit that bill, man. I think they can be future tag team champs easily, or start a crew, or be a part of a crew, or they're just two vicious dudes. They go good in the ring, and they're really good on the mic right now.
Yeah, and I think the tag division needs a boost in the arm, big time. And we'll get to that more about that when we get to Monday Night Raw, because we had a return of another big tag team on Raw. But I think now, of all times, it's Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso now. Judgment Day versus KO and Sammy. Wash, rinse, repeat. So now you have Pretty Deadly. You have Austin Theory and Grayson Waller teaming up. The tag division needs a boost, and I think Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are the perfect people to give it that boost. And if it leads to them winning the tag titles in the future, I'm all for it. They're killing it right now. Both of them are killing it. I
agree. And there's another thing going on right now that you wanted to talk about, right? What's going on over on SmackDown with pairings?
Speaking of a random pairing, LA Knight is going to be John Cena's partner at Fastlane on this coming Saturday, the day after tomorrow. And I had a feeling this is the direction that they were going in. They've been alluding to the whole LA Knight versus the Bloodline thing during The Rock's return. They were watching LA Knight's match against The Miz. They were talking about the LA Knight problem, and nobody gave the order to go after LA Knight. So we focus on John Cena right now. So it was only a matter of time. My problem with it is it's completely random. John Cena and LA Knight had that. They had that little. John Cena was the guest ref at the last pay-per-view, and John Cena gave LA Knight the big rub by raising his arm after his match with The Miz, but it became the John Cena show, that whole match. And so, but they haven't really had any interaction since then. And then, with the last time we saw LA Knight, he said, "I'm going after gold. I'm going after gold. I'm going to go after Gunther. I'm going after Roman Reigns. I'm going after Rey Mysterio. I'm going after Seth Rollins." Yeah, he name dropped Roman. He said, "I'm going. It doesn't matter who it is." And now he's going after Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso in a tag match. And I get it. It's going to probably lead to a match against Roman Reigns, and I get that. But still, this just feels random. I don't know how I feel about it, and yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I'm a big LA Knight guy. I have my LA Knight shirt, but I'm not.
Yeah.
This just doesn't. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, and once again, I always feel like when you pair people up with John Cena, it's not the rub that Vince and Triple H and everyone's hoping for, because people don't like John Cena, and people don't like people being thrown down your throats. And you have a guy who is organically becoming a babyface and getting pushed, and you're going to go ahead and put him with a guy who's going to shove you down your throats and bury people along the way. It's not a good look for LA Knight. But I did think it was funny too, because not only is it a random pairing, this random pairing replaced another random pairing, because I didn't even think AJ Styles and John Cena made sense.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense either.
Yeah, I was confused by that pairing, and then they beat the snot out of him, and LA Knight comes out, and I'm like, were we just like picking dudes from the locker room? And
yeah,
you're my Dave Meltzer. You and Patrick actually are both my Dave Meltzers, because I refuse to read social media or insights, dirt sheets on WWE or in wrestling in general. But is AJ injured in real life, or was just this for fun because this is what they planned on, because LA Knight got COVID and they're like, we got to bring him back? So
I don't know. I don't know if this feels like they had this plan for a while. But I don't know. I don't think AJ's hurt. I don't, but again, I wouldn't have liked the John Cena AJ Styles pairing, but it would have made sense because there's a story there. These guys have been kind of going at the Bloodline together. Now it's just, hey, here's LA Knight, who really hasn't had any interaction except for one backstage segment with Paul Heyman. Let's put him in this match. So I'm not feeling this. And then the Carl Anderson came out and attacked. Where have those
Oh
guys
yeah,
been?
yeah.
Like where were you guys when AJ Styles was getting demolished backstage? And so, yeah, all of it just feels random, and I'm not feeling it. But no, I don't think AJ Styles is hurt. I think this has been the plan this whole time.
Got it. All right. Well, it is what it is. Also, I want to mention that, is it a coincidence that LA Knight gets COVID, and as soon as he's healed and comes back, it's as soon as Shooting Star gets COVID? I don't know. Scandalous.
I know, you don't know, man. You've never seen me and LA Knight in the same place. So
anyway, all right, let's keep it moving. Let's go to something that was pretty good. And I got to say, NXT No Mercy was pretty good. And before we even get into it, because we're going to do highs and lows the same as we're just going to kind of run through it. But I want to say the opening of No Mercy was super cool. For all you oldies like me and Shooting Star Press over here, there's an N64 game, and a lot of people consider it the greatest N64 game of all time.
It is.
WWE No Mercy. And it opened up with like the video game from WWE No Mercy. It had like the old logo, and it was like a cool little opening, nostalgia thing to the old WWE No Mercy. So I don't know when the last No Mercy pay-per-view was, but it was cool to see that get brought up again. But with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to run through every match and kind of give what we thought were highs and lows, and I agree it is the greatest game of all time. Some people try to say WCW versus NWO, which is really, really close. But No Mercy is the greatest of all time. And the AEW game, which I bought the day it came out, and I played only twice because I'm busy and I should get more video games in. That game is very close to No Mercy in those N64 games. So if you haven't checked out that new AEW game, Fight Forever,
I've heard it's good.
It's pretty good. And I got it because I only have a Switch, so it's about time I can play wrestling. But here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
We open up with Bron Breakker versus Baron Corbin, which was a surprisingly good match. Really good match between these two. Kind of shows that when Bron Breakker wrestles somebody, he can kind of get a good, rub against somebody who has experience. But the surprise was Corbin got the win, man. Corbin gets the win. We have Dirty Dom, and Trick Williams, where Dirty Dominik loses clean. The match was only about 9 minutes or so, but I actually thought it was a pretty good match, and Dirty Dom is continuing to get better and better every time he wrestles. We had a random 4-team tag team match where the D'Angelo family won. It had some good moves. The Creed brothers are insane. And I do like that Tony was selling that knee pretty well. And he actually sold it pretty well too. So it gave us some intrigue. We had Noam Dar versus Butch in a match that I actually thought Butch should have won. What's the point of bringing him up? It didn't really give Noam Dar the rub that much, but Noam Dar did get the win at the end. We had Carmelo Hayes, which I'm going to talk about in a second, versus Dragunov, and what I'm going to call an all-time classic. I thought it was better than their last match. I'm going to say a classic. I'm going to say if we're talking about like matches we'll remember in 2023, this is going to be one of them. It was a banger, but Carmelo Hayes takes the L, and Dragunov is your new NXT World Champion. And we closed out with, which I thought, even though the last match was a classic, the match of the night, and that was Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch and Bex T, which I really want that shirt, and Bex T. And Becky Lynch gets the win. So that was all the matches. I just want to cover really quick. I was Dominik Mysterio losing. I know that we have now moved into the future. We all know what's going on with it. I still don't get it. I don't know, especially clean. He had just gotten a big win, a clean win over Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee didn't really even play a part in the loss. Like nothing did. It wasn't even like any kind of betrayal. He just kind of got out wrestled and lost. No one came out. Weird booking. And it was the second match of the night. I feel like you have a belt on Dirty Dom, the biggest heel in the business, and you have him going number 2. Really, really weird. I know you want to talk about another match, but I wanted to say too with Carmelo Hayes, I thought it was weird that they didn't close out. I get that Becky Lynch is a bigger name, but you didn't have a title change. You had a title change with Dragunov, and I like Dragunov. I'm not trying to say I don't like him. I dig him, but he is not that guy, I don't think, especially personality-wise, unless he tries to get like the Gunther vibe. I don't see him being that guy who's going to carry NXT to the next level like Carmelo Hayes did. So you had Carmelo Hayes, who's this champion forever. He's been champ for so long. We were there when he won, actually. We were there together when he won that belt.
Stand and deliver.
Yeah, stand and deliver, WrestleMania weekend. So for him just to lose, 6-month reign. It should have been longer, but whatever. If he's going to the big show, which it looks like he probably is, but you had him lose and kind of uneventfully. I mean, I know that finisher off the top rope was better than the one he does from the ground, but it just kind of like happened. He lost. Dragunov got like 10 seconds to show off, and then we just kind of moved on to Becky Lynch. I thought that should have closed out. We should have had some confetti, make Dragunov feel bigger. So maybe those fans who aren't feeling him as much can kind of be like, okay, this guy's the real deal. I thought that was kind of a miss, but the match itself was amazing, and I'm hoping Dragunov, even though his first night wasn't that great either as champ. And then Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton. I was somebody who said I did not believe in Tiffany Stratton. I thought she was a fake Mandy Rose. I thought she shouldn't have been doing it, and she's proven me wrong. This girl can go. Her last match with Becky Lynch was a 5-star match, and this one was even better. Her little moonsault, or what are her Jeff Hardy thing that she does,
The
her swanton bomb.
Yeah,
she might do it better than Jeff Hardy, bro. I know I'm about to get attacked, but that thing, it looks better too. Thank you very much. But no, but like she delivers that well, and they had a phenomenal banger and didn't have to bleed all over the place. AEW, take notes, John Moxley. You can have a hardcore match and not bleed all over the damn place. I liked it. I know Becky Lynch got that nasty cut that I didn't see during the match, so I don't know when she got it. That thing was gnarly. But that was a good dude. Tiffany Stratton. This was once again a perfect example of why you give the belt to Becky Lynch, to push stars, elevate them. And with that said, Tiffany Stratton lost. That chick is elevated. Now she can go to Raw or SmackDown, and now she's a star. She's a hot. People are going to be behind her. They saw what she can do. Bravo. And I have to say, I did like the Barbie doll pieces dropped instead of the tacks. I thought that was pretty funny. Everyone thought they were thumbtacks, and it was like Barbie doll pieces. But anyway, that's my quick review of what I thought. But I thought overall that was a pretty damn good show.
Yeah, I thought it was probably their best pay-per-view besides Stand and Deliver so far. Still thought Stand and Deliver was better, but this one had a lot more mainstream attention because you have Becky Lynch and Dominik Mysterio on there. So you can draw in the people that don't normally watch NXT, that are watching Raw and SmackDown every week. So yeah, I thought it was a good show. I really enjoyed the opening match between Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker. I thought they brought it. Baron Corbin proves yet again that he's one of the best wrestlers in the industry, and he's one of the most underused and underappreciated guys. And I'm actually very surprised he got the victory, because that's one thing that Baron Corbin, he can wrestle and he's safe and he's really good in the ring, and he has a crazy killer finisher, but he never wins. And the fact that they had him beat the former NXT world champion the way that he did, I was pretty impressed with that. So I'm hoping that it leads to more bigger things now for Baron Corbin in NXT, maybe even a world title run here in the future. Something. But yeah, because he deserves it. And you talk about elevating. I mean, I think Bron Breakker looks like $1 million now too, and because of Baron Corbin. So
I agree. Anything else you dug, or
Trick Williams? I think. I know people were disappointed in the outcome of the Dirty Dom match, and I was too. I didn't think it was. I thought it was way too soon for Dom to lose. I didn't think he needed to lose, especially when we get back into our NXT stuff later on. It made no sense for him to lose, but I was happy for Trick Williams. Trick Williams has been somebody that's been kind of pushed aside a little bit in favor of Carmelo Hayes, but I've always felt that him and Carmelo could be a good tag team, which I know they've teamed up before, but I think they could. I think he could be a good single star. I think he could be a good tag team wrestler, and I was happy to see him actually win some gold. And I was hoping to see more of a dynamic between him and Carmelo. Now that Trick Williams is the one with the gold and Carmelo is the one without it, we haven't really seen that side. So I was kind of digging that, but. Obviously, we'll talk more about NXT from Tuesday night. But yeah, I was happy for Trick Williams.
Yeah. And he did look good. He did look like $1 million, and he always kind of was good, and he's been groomed by Carmelo. Obviously, they probably, work together all the time backstage, travel together. I mean, and then, Carmelo's one of the best to ever do it. So,
and then the show ending with them embracing and everything, it made it seem like they're either saying goodbye, like Carmelo's going up to the main roster, or there's going to be a feud here in the future, and Carmelo's going to turn on Trick Williams. And
talk about that soon, huh?
Yeah. Who knows? But we'll get there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. But all right. Good stuff. NXT brought it. And let's move on to Monday Night Raw, where they had a lot of good stuff going on. And holy cow, I watched late. Didn't get many spoilers at all for Monday Night Raw. I was excited. And show opened up hot. And I got a little bit nervous. So it opens up with, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax going at it. And they go into the ring, and Nia Jax is beating her. And then out comes Raquel Rodriguez, and she's getting beat up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are we really gonna have Nia Jax beat up everybody she just beat up again? What are we doing here? And out comes Rhea Ripley. And at first I was a little upset because I was like, she's been off TV for 2-3 weeks. This is how you have a return? Like, no, give her like a big thing. But, WWE said, hold my beer, and they obviously brought a good thing. But she comes out and clears out house, and they all get broken up, and they leave. And they get Nia Jax out of there, and we don't have to see her again. Thank Jeebus. And then Rhea Ripley basically says, you know what? Judgment Day, get your asses out here. And an awkward situation, though, because she said, get out here. And then Michael Cole was like, so tonight on Raw, we're going to have
I know.
blah, blah. And I was like, wait, huh? I'm like, are they coming out? And then she's still talking in the background as he's like commentating. She's like, get out here. And they're just like, da, 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 da. You caught that too? I was like,
yeah, that was weird.
Happening?
And then they all come out, but Finn Balor doesn't come out. So it's just like, okay, so I guess he's exempt from this. He doesn't get a tongue lashing from Rhea.
I want a tongue lashing.
Oh yeah.
And then Dom is wearing her belt. I was like, yes, sir. Dom's wearing her belt. I was like, wait, huh? I was like, what's happening? I guess Finn had the night off because he was injured, but then he was on NXT. I don't know. Anyway, same thing with Becky Lynch. She comes out on a sling, and then next night on NXT, she ain't got it anymore, and she's like swinging that right.
Yeah, all
like
of a sudden she's medically cleared. I feel bad for Tegan Nox, man. Tegan Nox has been waiting for that title shot. And, I'm not medically cleared. Yeah. So.
Anyway, but I just like how it's two different universes, like DC and Marvel. I'm telling you, when you go to like NXT, it's like nothing exists anymore. But anyway, she calls out the Judgment Day, basically says there are no leaders in Judgment Day, although I think they need to make Rhea the leader. I think that'll make Judgment Day a little bit more powerful, in my opinion. But anyway, there's no leaders, but she controls, makes the plans, which is what a leader definition of a leader is.
So she's
and
the leader.
She then, so then she gets in Damian Priest's face and is like, yo, I told you to protect my Dom. I told you you guys have fallen apart, this and that. And then he brings it back and basically is like, well, I have my briefcase and I have my tag team titles, but what does Dirty Dom have? And the crowd's like, oh, and then Rhea decides to go full like, I'm about to dump you mode out of nowhere, which made me literally piss my pants. I'm like, are they breaking up Judgment? Like, Dirty Dom cannot survive without Judgment Day, right? Like, they need to either I don't think any of them, they need each other right now. They truly do. And she's basically like, you lost your belt, you won't bring him home, then you ain't coming home. And Dom's like, and then out comes Jey Uso to, I don't know, make the crowd pump up. I was feeling Jey. Now I'm sort of like, meh. He's like freaking, who else gets cheap pops? He's just like, he's trying to get Cody and,
that's
Mick Foley back. He's like trying to get like, look at me, come on. He sat there forever because they weren't doing it at first and they finally started doing it. And he basically flirts with Rhea, but then says she has balls. I don't know if that was metaphorically or I don't know what. It was a weird thing because he was like, hey, baby, let me talk to you sly. Like, I want a piece of that. And you got bigger balls than Roman. And I was like,
and then Damian Priest was like, you shut your mouth. Like, well, why?
Yeah.
He was complimenting her.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right? Right? I was so confused.
He paid her a compliment. Why are you getting so mad, bro?
I don't know, but I don't know why. But then Dominik is like, yo, I'm gonna take care of this. No one talks about mommy. Damian, you're not clear. He was complimenting her, yeah. Well, but you shouldn't compliment your girlfriend. I don't know. If I had a girl,
I get that,
like, chilling, and somebody walked up to me and started macking on her, I'm not gonna go fisticuffs.
I get Dom, but
wrestling,
Damian Priest being all mad that he said that she has bigger balls than Roman Reigns. Like, that's a dig at Roman.
It is, and he's always mad, right? Isn't he always? I feel like he's always mad. I don't remember the last time he wasn't mad. Tell me why you're mad. But he basically, Dom gets beat up instantly, obviously, right? And then out comes JD McDonough, which I'm really feeling right now. He comes out, puts the hurt on Jay. They come out, Adam, whatever, and they all break it up. And then he announces that we are going to have Jay and Cody versus the Judgment Day for the tag team championships at Fastlane. and I'm just very, very confused on the booking. But nonetheless, hot beginning, hot opening. They had a couple other backstage things in the back as well, where JD kind of won Damian Priest over in a sense, but it looked like Rhea was all for JD. I don't know. I don't get why Damian doesn't like JD. He's literally done nothing to him since that very beginning. So he helped him win the tag team belts. He helps Dominik. He helps Rhea. Like, he's helping. I don't get why he's still pissed off at him. I don't know. Damian Priest is so angry.
He's the reason he has that purple briefcase that says "Senior Money in the Bank."
And he just got him, and he still like doesn't. Yeah, I'm very confused on everything, but it was a hot opening nonetheless, and I was all in my feelings. So, what say you?
Yeah, it tugged at the heartstrings a little bit when, I'm okay if Judgment Day breaks up, if they kick out Damian Priest or if they kick out Finn Balor, but they keep the group together and add JD McDonough and keep Rhea and Dom together. Rhea and Dom cannot break up. They need each other. Dom needs her. Rhea needs him, and they feed off of each other pretty well. So even if they went their separate ways and they still stayed together, I'd be for that. But yeah, when they tease the whole Rhea breaking up with Dom and Jay's flirting with Rhea, I'm like, oh, what are we like? Why are we doing this? Why? And I've talked about this many a time, but why is it that every faction seems to break up at the exact same time, or they at least tease a breakup at the exact same time? You had Schism breakup at No Mercy, which we didn't talk about, but and then Imperium, they have to prove themselves to Gunther. You have the Judgment Day having their issues, the Bloodlines having their issues. Bobby Lashley's faction doesn't have a name, is already having issues with each other. It's just it's like we don't have anything else, so let's just have all the factions break up. But this segment was hot. It was a good way to tug at the heartstrings a little bit, and it was an emotional roller coaster. But it was also a hot flipping mess. Why are we doing Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the tag titles? Why? It makes zero sense. And when are we going to find out who's getting traded from Raw to SmackDown? They kind of just stop talking about that.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is just a hot flipping mess.
I agree. And I think that's just done. I think they're just, literally done with that. I don't think they're going to talk about moving over or doing any type of trades. But yeah, man. Oh, no, Damian should not lead the... I agree. He's literally...
Yeah, I don't want them to break up either.
I don't think any of them, not even Rhea. And I think if they add JD, I'm not for that. I like JD being kind of like the side crony, like not a true member, but kind of like a member. But if they add him, I'm for that. But they shouldn't break up anyone. And that's what I mean. They all have a place, right? Finn's like the GOAT, right? He's like the GOAT of the group. Rhea is the most dominant female, which they need. Dirty Dom's the heel and like the little chicken shit, of the group. And Damian Priest, like Morgan just said, that
he's the powerhouse.
The powerhouse. He's the muscles. He's like the grumpy one. They all fit. And, so they are way too money right now. Their merch is selling out the wazoo. It'd be stupid to break them up. They need to be around for a few years.
And they need to keep booking them strong. Yes.
I agree. But we'll get into predictions. I think we're gonna have some things on predictions. But anyway, all right. What you like? What you think about or not like?
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier, but we talked about the opening. We're going to talk about the closing. First we had a contract signing between Ciampa and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And when we get into predictions, as of right now, we only have 5 matches on the Fastlane card. So why they couldn't put the IC title match on the Fastlane card remains it will always be a mystery to me. But during the contract signing, Ciampa, he cuts a good promo. He's talking about how Gunther's had opportunity after opportunity. The typical, I've had to claw and fight my way. I don't get the same opportunities that you get. Blah, yada yada yada. So it was a good back and forth. Gunther was very ridiculing of Ciampa's attire. He was like, "This is a contract signing for the most important title in our sport, and this is what you come dressed as." Just little things like that, and then. And then Ciampa somehow outsmarted Gunther and said, "Hey, we could always change the dates. We could change a little bit of numbers on here, and we can make this match happen tonight." And Gunther was like, "Okay, let's do it." And then Adam Pearce made it official. So now we had the Intercontinental Championship match take place we had a contract signing where they signed a contract, but they changed the date, I guess. And so it was for the main event of Monday Night Raw. And it was Gunther versus Ciampa, and it was a banger. Gunther's phenomenal in the ring, and Ciampa brings it. Now I'm kind of in the corner that Ciampa should be the one to break Gunther's streak and end Gunther's reign as IC champion. But I'm still have hopes that it's Chad Gable. But if it's Ciampa, that's not a bad option either. So I don't think they could go wrong with either one of them. But the match was good. And then after Ciampa loses, of course, we all expected that. I didn't expect Gunther to lose his IC title on this show. And then afterwards, out comes Imperium, and they put a beat down on Ciampa. And then all of a sudden, you could hear a pin drop in the arena because Johnny Gargano's music hit. And the crowd wasn't really feeling it. I don't think they really knew what was going on. But he comes out, and he takes out all of Imperium. Gunther runs away. And then apparently there was a big controversy, but they cut off Monday Night Raw right as they were about to do their meet in the middle finisher. Michael Cole says DIY, and then Raw goes off the air. Johnny Gargano is back in WWE. I think, like I said earlier, we have Pretty Deadly on SmackDown. You have whatever Bobby Lashley's group is doing. You have Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. You have the Judgment Day. You have KO and Sammy. And now you have the reunion of apparently you have Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Don't forget about those guys. And Solo and Jimmy. Don't forget about them. And,
that's right.
And LA Knight and John Cena too. So I mean, but in all seriousness, DIY is they're back together, and I think that's going to be a huge boost for the tag division. But I don't think the crowd, and maybe it was just how I was watching it, but the crowd didn't really react very much. I don't know if they expected it. I don't know if they cared. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to see Johnny Gargano back. I want them to give him a good run this time around. I feel like he came back last time and lost all the time. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm curious to see what this leads to with DIY coming back together. I want to see maybe they bring the Way back and bring Dexter Lumis back into the fold and Indy Hartwell back into everything. But right now I'm going to see where it goes. But I'm excited to see Johnny Gargano back, and I'm excited to see him back with Ciampa.
So I've said this forever. I've got Ciampa shirts. I got a few of them, actually. I still think Ciampa is the greatest NXT wrestler of all time. I think he's the greatest champion of all time. The whole Goldie thing, everything Ciampa did was amazing. He was one of the best heels, if not the best heel in NXT of all time. Ciampa's my dude. DIY is easily the top 3 greatest tag teams of all time in NXT. So I'm all for this. But here's the thing, right? Ciampa could deliver. He delivered in that match. That match was a banger, and he can
great.
dish the pain and get the pain. He can do it both. So he's a perfect person for Gunther. But I did want to see the Way get back together, and it doesn't look like that's happening. With DIY getting back together, I think that's what they're going to push. And Dexter Lumis, who knows? And now, Indy Hartwell's over on NXT jobbing for some reason, not even getting.
She was drafted to Raw. Yeah.
And I mean, she said, I'm going to be on both, but so I'm confused on that. But I think the pin drop, because I noticed that too, was the poor booking. We talked about Johnny Gargano's poor booking before he disappeared. And it's just how it's been, man. I mean, he was thriving and having a phenomenal rivalry with Grayson Waller, where it was personal, and Waller was like beating him up in front of his wife and kid, and it was intense and at his house. Yeah. And now it's just like, then he was going on Raw and jobbing to everybody. Was it the Alpha? I forgot who he was losing.
Bronson Reed or somebody like
Bronson Reed. Yeah, he's just jobbing at people all the time, and he just didn't look good. So why would the crowd cheer? Not everybody watches NXT. So you have this guy come out, and nobody even knows who he is. It's not like they recognize his music. They didn't know who he was. So I don't blame the pin drop, but WWE did him no justice, or USA, whoever's fault it was. But they were both in the corner about to do their move, and they ended it, dropped it, went to the next show. That's it, and made it even worse. So I'm intrigued on what happens next on Monday Night Raw. But I mean, people watching at home, if they didn't know who he was, every part about it was awful. So I'm glad they're back together. I love them. I love them both, and I'm here for it. But that was a hot mess return. So yeah. And I don't think Ciampa's going after. I think Gunther's done with both of them. I think he's going to move on again. I mean, Gunther's just that guy. Might as well keep it on him too. I mean, I think they need to keep it on him until he's going for the heavyweight title. So unless they're ready for that right now, and maybe he can be the one to dethrone Roman. I mean, he's at least believable.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm assuming it's not going to be Jay anymore. It's not going to be Jimmy or Solo. It's obviously going to be Cody or The Rock, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, why not?
We'll
Gunther?
see. I don't know.
Then,
why
then you
not?
have the Equalizers and Imperium against Solo and Jimmy. Yeah, makes sense, but we don't work there.
Someone's got to finish their story. And speaking of finishing the story, I want to talk about a Cody Rhodes. What do you guys want to talk about? And so I do want to talk about you, Cody Rhodes, because what is the point of you? So Cody Rhodes, let's just backtrack. Cody Rhodes was in WWE, right? I want to talk about you, Cody. I want to talk about you because for someone who wants to finish a story, one needs a story. And I don't even know what his story is. I don't know what Cody Rhodes' purpose is. So let's go back. He had a pretty good career. He was dashing. He was, bag wearing. He was, other Cody Rhodes with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase.
Legacy.
And Legacy. And he had a good career. And then he ended up becoming Stardust, which he killed, by the way. Checkmate. Stardust was phenomenal. And he did his thing, but then he didn't like it, right? And so he moved on and decided to create his own wrestling organization, which we all know as AEW, which Tony Khan then just took away from them because he has money. And he was the rebel. He was the guy who was F WWE. I'm doing this. He started off the first ever Dynamite by taking a sledgehammer to a throne, which was a diss towards Triple H, basically saying that, you're dead and we're here and this and that, no more. And he was a rebel in AEW with his gimmick and who he was. And then he comes to WWE and he has his music and he probably has the greatest return of all time. Maybe we'll talk about somebody else's tomorrow on AEW, but that pop at Mania when he faced Seth Rollins and he came out of the ground and out of the stage, it was unreal. Now, what does he do? He lost to Roman, and ever since he lost to Roman, he feuded with Brock Lesnar, which was kind of a meh feud, and now he has done literally nothing.
Beat Dominik.
He beat Dominik a few times in squash matches. This dude doesn't even wrestle anymore. All he does is wear a suit. He comes out and he waves the fans and kisses the babies. He literally just came out and they were like, "Hey, Cody. Hey, I'm Cody." And they were like, "You're wrestling for the tag team titles." "I am. We're going to win. Thank you."
Yeah, and I'll be on SmackDown.
And I'll be on SmackDown. Cody Rhodes, something, so thank you. And he left. I don't understand. I was telling you before we got on, I don't even know if people like him anymore. I don't know how any fan who has no idea who he was beforehand, right? Was not tuned into AEW, who was not tuned into Stardust and his career with Legacy, who's watching this Cody Rhodes for the first, this is who they see. And they're like, that's that dude. Like, this is who I want to cheer for. Like, what have you given me? And once again, unless you're going to jump into it full force and just go right into it, his story is done. What's his story? Feuding with Judgment. He's basically Judgment Day's like side piece. That's all he is. He's the guy enhancing Judgment Day or trying to or whatever. I have no idea. Cody Rhodes is, I just can't do it. And now he's paired up with Jey Uso. Like, huh? Even Jay said, "I used to hate Cody in the Bloodline. Now I love him." Like, what?
Yeah, now we're friends.
Yeah. It's all stupid, dumb, and I have no idea what's going on. The Cody Rhodes right now is a huge miss.
I will say, if they win the tag team titles, I may not watch WWE for a little bit. I'm gonna be if they put those tag belts on Cody and Jay at Fastlane, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off because
I told you I'm jumping off a bridge.
You talk about a random pairing and a randomness. But yeah, Cody, like Morgan says, Cody's boring right now. And
100%.
He's not doing anything. He just comes out and like he's gonna be on SmackDown, but what's he gonna do on SmackDown? Is Roman Reigns gonna be on SmackDown? Mm-hmm. Are we gonna have the confrontation and advance some of that story? I don't think so. So what's his purpose gonna be on SmackDown? I don't know. I'm not feeling Cody Rhodes. I'm not digging it. I'm ready for them to move away and this is why LA Knight should win the Rumble and wrestle Roman Reigns instead of Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
All right.
Because at least they have somewhat of a story right now. And and Cody is just kind of, "Hey guys, I'm over here." So
literally.
And speaking of things that don't make any sense to me, is this Drew McIntyre stuff. Drew McIntyre was on he was on Miz TV last week, and then it was announced he was going to be on Miz TV again. But then he goes to Adam Pearce and says, "Hey, I'm not going to be on Miz TV. I've already done it. but I'm going to go out and talk to my fans. And so he goes out, and Adam Pearce is like, okay, cool.
Which is
And
what
then-
Miss TV is, by the way. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So he goes out and he says he doesn't know anyone an explanation as to why he's not he doesn't know anyone an explanation as to why he didn't save Kofi Kingston a few weeks ago from a beatdown from Judgment Day, I think it was, or yeah, and why he walked out on Jey Uso, and just why is he still mad at the Bloodline? I don't understand it. And he even said to Adam Pearce, he was like, "What, are you starting to doubt me too? Or are you starting to question why I didn't help Jey? Where was everybody when the Bloodline was beating me up?" It's just, I get that this is a slow burn probably to a Drew McIntyre heel turn, and I think a heel turn is long overdue for Drew McIntyre. He's run his course as a babyface, and so if this is what gets us there, I'm okay with it. But this whole I'm mad at Jey Uso, I'm mad at the Bloodline, it's stupid at this point because Jey Uso was not at Clash at the Castle. Jey Uso had nothing to do with the fact that Drew McIntyre did not leave the UK with the Undisputed Championship. It was Solo Sikoa. Just like Cody Rhodes, the reason that he lost at WrestleMania is not because of Jey Uso, it's because of Solo Sikoa. So Drew McIntyre's beef should be really with Solo and not with Jey. So that's my biggest thing with this story is just how just dumb it is that Drew McIntyre is so mad at the Bloodline. He's mad at Cody Rhodes. He's tired of being the savior. He's not going to save anybody. He's not going to stick his nose in other people's business anymore. He's only going to worry about himself. And then he attacks them. The Miz comes out, and the Miz is like, "Hey, I supported you. I defended you. I had your back. I stood up for you." And he tells him to shut up. And then he attacks the Miz, and then he grabs the mic and he's like, "I'm really sorry for my actions, and I guess by apologizing, that means I'm automatically forgiven." And then he just leaves. It was just a weird finish to that segment. It was a weird segment in general. And also, can we get a confrontation between him and Jey? He's like, it's one of those things where you're talking about somebody like they're not in the room. Jey's there, and Jey has yet to come out in any of these two segments to say, "Hey, man, you got something to say it to my face."
But yeah.
He's got no problem talking to the Judgment Day. He's got no problem going to Kevin Owens and having a moment with him. But why is he not getting, if Drew's so mad that Jey's there, why not give them, I know they had a match and everything, but why not give them mic time and let them go back and settle their differences? I don't understand it. They're talking about Jey's like he's not there.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I don't know. Drew is poor Drew, right? I think he was, whatever with his contract was going on, although I literally think it was nothing because his contract is still not due up for like another year, right? But I don't think it had anything to do with I think Drew, they just don't know what to do with, right? I mean, he was supposed to be the future and he won during COVID and it kind of got pushed aside and now they took the belt off of him and he hasn't really done anything since. He was in that IC title hunt for a few, but he's already lost clean to Gunther. I don't know what you do with him right now. So they're just trying to find something for him, but he's better than this. That's the thing. And I'm not even the biggest Drew fan, but he's better than this. And hopefully they find his way. But I do think a feud with him and maybe Cody or Jey are on the horizon, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But let's talk about some NXT. Let's close it out. A lot of NXT this week, huh? So we had the pay-per-view or the premium live event and their show. But we'll go quickly on this. I wanted to say, I'm going to talk about my boy being the two-time champ. And I want to try to, the best I can, maybe possibly explain what the heck we're doing here. So Saturday happens, or Saturday, right? Yeah, it was on Saturday, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saturday happens, and Dirty Dom
competing with
Saturday,
Collision,
and Dirty Dom loses the belt in the second match of the night cleanly. Monday, Rhea Ripley threatens him and basically says, "You ain't bring the belt home, you ain't coming home." And so he goes right back to his Dirty Dom ways, and every single Judgment Day member and the cronies help out. It ends up with Finn Balor, who was there all of a sudden, hitting Trick Williams with the belt. Trick Williams gets a vicious frog splash on his back, pinned, and your new champ, Dirty Dom, two-time champion, and all is well in the Judgment Day. So I don't know what the heck all the drama was for because they were hugging and kissing and all on the same page again. Finn and Damian don't even look like they're beefing anymore. So I don't know why we keep doing that. Let's just have them be vicious and lead. And I think that's what I'm getting at. So I think the point of this was for that. I think two reasons. One, Carmelo lost. Trick wasn't there. Trick won the belt, said, Carmelo, I don't want you. Get out of here. Carmelo then says he's going to pair up with John Cena and wrestle Bron Breakker and blah, 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 and this and that to have somebody on his side. Trick then loses the belt by not having anyone there. So I think, number one, he won that belt and lost it again just to start a feud with him and Carmelo. I think it was a nice way to kind of start a feud that I won the belt, but you weren't there to support me, but you weren't there to support me. And something's going to happen. They're going to let this burn a little bit, and we're going to get Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes and some kind of feud before Carmelo moves on to Raw or SmackDown. So I think that led to. For Judgment Day, I think this was kind of the end of the pointless drama. I think this was their moment to kind of dominate to what Rhea was saying, where she said, people don't fear us because we're always on the wrong page. We need to be on the same page. We all need to be champs. We need to look out for Dirty Dom like we look out for you. Let's do this. They all stood together. JD was there. Dirty Dom is the second two-time champ. They look vicious as ever. They look all together. Now maybe people will fear them. So in the long run, it didn't make sense, but I'm assuming, or I'm thinking to the best of my ability of my years of watching wrestling, never being a booker or a wrestler myself, is that's what I think they are trying to get out of all of this. So
yeah,
and that match was better than their other one. This match was a banger, dude. I'm telling you, Dirty Dom is bringing it, dude. Yeah.
It was, and he got offense in too, which he can't seem to get offense in when he goes on Monday Night Raw against Cody Rhodes or anybody, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I like your idea about Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. I think that's the only way that this makes any sense, because I said I was happy for Trick Williams winning a belt and having gold because he's kind of paving his own way and doing his own thing now, and then he loses it 3 days later. Now I feel terrible for him. But if this leads to a match with him and Carmelo in the future, and maybe it sets him up as the future face of NXT before Carmelo moves up, then I'm all for it and I'm down for it.
And then with Dragunov too on NXT. So
yeah. So
I know they're being frenzies, but you never know.
Yeah, but also just how many times I feel like with Judgment Day though, how many times do we say, okay, this is the end of their pointless drama, and now they're going to be booked strong, and then they're booked strong for a couple of weeks, and then they have pointless drama, and then they're back to being a well-oiled machine, and then they have pointless drama. So I am ready for this pointless drama to stop and let them be the dominant faction, the dominant force that they are, and let them run the WWE and stop with all this. We're going to break up. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Just stop, because they keep doing it, and it's getting old now. Either pull the trigger and do it, or don't at this point.
I agree.
And then for me with NXT, I want to talk about the stacking of the card for next week. So we have potentially some Tuesday Night Wars coming for 1 week only to WWE TV, and I guess T and Turner Television, Warner Brothers Discovery, because next week AEW Dynamite has to move to Tuesday night because of the baseball playoffs starting on Wednesday on TBS. I guess the Braves are in it or something, and Braves own their own. So they have to move Dynamite to Tuesday. And I don't know if you guys knew, but former WWE superstar Adam Copeland, FKA, aka Edge, is now in All Elite Wrestling, and he showed up at Wrestle Dream and got a huge pop, got a huge ovation, probably one of the biggest moments in AEW's history. And so now that Dynamite, his first match is going to be on Tuesday, October the 10th, on Title Tuesday against Luchasaurus in a non-title match. But it's like Night of Champions, but we're not putting our belts on the line. But yeah, so his first match in AEW is going to be against Luchasaurus on Tuesday night, October the 10th. And so what does NXT do? They stack their card for their October the 10th show. They have you mentioned it earlier. You're gonna have Carmelo Hayes against Bron Breakker, and John Cena is gonna be in the corner of Carmelo Hayes, and Paul Heyman, of all people, is gonna randomly be in the corner of Bron Breakker, because he's got to keep an eye on John Cena. He's gonna be watching out for John Cena. So he's gotten the order from the tribal chief to watch out for Bron Breakker and really, really stick it to John Cena. But we're also getting Asuka on the show. We're also getting a special announcement from one Codamus Maximus Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is going to be on the show for
That's all he does.
Yeah, he's going to cut it. He's going to have yeah. So they and of course Becky Lynch, I think, is wrestling Tegan Knox. Is that the match next week? And
is it on? Is it on there? Or is it on Raw? Maybe it is on NXT. I think they're putting everything on NXT. Yeah.
But yeah, they are really stacking the decks next week for NXT. And it's also Tony Khan's birthday, and so I think they're trying to win the Tuesday night. Next Tuesday is Tony Khan's birthday, so I think they're trying to win the Tuesday Night War. They're trying to stick it to AEW, and maybe that's the night Jade Cargill debuts. Maybe that's the night Brian Pillman Jr. debuts. I don't know, but we're gonna have next Tuesday is gonna be a fun night in both WWE and AEW.
I agree with all that. The only thing is that this is a bunch of randomness. Once again,
Yeah.
You've already described it all. Also, it proves that Asuka is not going to win the championship at the Fastlane because she's not going to win and then go to NXT. And the Paul Heyman thing was weird too because aren't they wrestling at Fastlane? So isn't the John Cena
it's going
to be
gonna
done
be
by
in the past.
Tuesday?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on, but they needed to stack the show. Here's the thing, though. I don't know if you know this, but NXT's ratings have almost been as good as Dynamite's right now. So I actually think Dynamite will probably take the L because they're the ones moving, not because NXT is a better show, but you stack it. People do like John Cena. People are going to want to tune in. And I think a lot of those AEW fans are going to forget it's not even on Tuesday and it's supposed to be on Wednesday. And I think it's going to hurt. I think it's hurting Edge's return thing. And I don't know what they're going to do for Tony Khan's birthday. Who gives a crap that is it? We don't do things for Triple H's birthday. Who cares? But it's just a weird dynamic here. But NXT has been pulling in like 800, 900,000 views recently since Becky Lynch came over with Dirty Dom. And so I can see them and I can see Judgment Day showing up. I think they're going to have more announcements on Friday and on.
So I think Tegan Nox and Becky Lynch is on Raw and it's going to be Asuka versus Roxanne Perez on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Becky Lynch will be there. I'm sure Judgment Day will be there. Dirty Dom will be there. So yeah, they really are stacking the card for NXT.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I like it. It's friendly. It's fun. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, are you ready to see what's gonna happen before we get to that awesome NXT?
Yeah, let's do it.
It is a certain time. What time is it? What time is it, Shooting Star? Prediction time.
What time is it? Prediction time. What time is it?
It is prediction time. Bum, bum, bum. And we got a huge stacked card. There are matches that I could find. Now, nonetheless, we might once again, because we do this on Thursdays or Wednesdays, we do this beforehand. But obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with Friday Night Smackdown. Maybe we'll get a couple more matches. But as of now, we got 5 matches. You got them all prepared? You have them all on there already?
Yes, sir. I do.
All right. We're going to start at the bottom. And as always, 6-man tag match. The LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, the crew with no name. Who do you got, Shooting Star? Who do you got?
Well, we don't know we know it's going to be Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, but we don't know about the other 2 guys who's going to be filling in. But I also don't think it matters. I think Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are winning. They have to. They can't lose their first real match together.
Mm-hmm. And does this start the feud between Escobar and Mysterio? Because Mysterio beat Escobar clean, which we didn't talk about, and they didn't even like.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it happens yet. I think it's going to be a slow build for that.
All right. I got Street Profits and Bobby Lashley as well. There's no point for the LWO to win this match. Next up, we got let's do the Women's Championship, which is Io Sky, the champ, versus Asuka versus, of course, Charlotte Flair, because you cannot do anything in this world with women's wrestling without having Charlotte Flair in it. Who do you got?
Charlotte Flair. I'm picking Charlotte Flair. I know. I don't want to, but I feel like they don't really seem to have Asuka have long title reigns, and I don't know how they're feeling about Io Sky's title reign. And I think how they feel about Charlotte Flair. They love Charlotte Flair, so I think Charlotte Flair is gonna take the title back.
The only way I see that happening is if then Bayley beats Charlotte Flair, because Charlotte Flair was running her mouth about Bayley being a 4-horsewoman, but now she's just a puppet or whatever else.
I can see that too. Yeah.
So if I see that, I'm gonna go with let's keep it. I'm gonna go Io Sky staying the champ. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna.
That's what I want to happen. Yeah, but I think I just have this feeling Charlotte's gonna take it.
Hopefully not. All right, another title match. We got the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. Finn Balor and Damian Priest, the Judgment Day, versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for some reason. Who you got?
I think Judgment Day is going to win. They have to. They're not going to They're going to win. And I think Jimmy Uso, I think this is going to open the show. And I think Jimmy Uso is going to be the reason that Jay does not leave with the tag belts. If you can't win with me, you're not going to win with him type thing. And Jimmy's going to screw Jay yet again. And it's going to set up something for Survivor Series, which is going to lead to something at the Rumble, which is then going to lead to Jimmy versus Jay at WrestleMania.
All right. I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to go Judgment Day winning, but I'm going to go this is the beginning of the turn of Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre is going to come out and bank Jey Uso in the head or do his finisher and kick him and kick him and give him his kick. And then he's going to get pinned and the Judgment Day is going to win. It's going to start a feud with Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes because Drew is fed up. And he's going to stab people with a sword. Yeah, I bring out a sword to a wrestling match. All right.
He also, in his promo this week, he was like, so what do you guys want to talk about? Like in his little...
Yeah, he was being like snarky and weird.
He said it wrong. He said it all.
He did say it wrong, yeah.
He was like, what do you guys want to talk about something? I can't remember what he said exactly. It was funny.
Because it's not a good gimmick slogan. It's not a good slogan. No one even knows what it's to say.
Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you is better than what do you want to talk about?
100%.
That's why 100%. LA Knight should dethrone Roman.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
More than Gunther? Okay, let's go. All right, let's move on. John Cena and your boy LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Uso. Who you got?
Oh. I think John Cena and LA Knight are going to win. And this is what's going to bring Roman back to TV.
That's it? All right. I think LA Knight and John Cena have to win. They can't have them two lose. It doesn't even make sense. But it also doesn't make sense to have Solo and Jimmy lose. I think it does bring Roman back. It has to. For one, it has to because Bloodline is drowning. And secondly, Jimmy is now kind of... And Jimmy did the whole hand thing to Paul Heyman and give me the mic. And he thinks he's the tribal chief right now. And Jimmy's cocky and feeling himself. So, yeah, I feel like it's got to bring back Roman Reigns. So I agree with you. I'm going to go Cena and LA Knight. And what I think better be the main event of the night, but who knows, since John Cena's here, we have Seth freaking Rollins defending against Shinsuke Nakamura. Who you got? Last man standing. I forgot you got to count to 10. So
I think Seth Rollins is going to retain, and it's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to be a banger, but he's going to retain. And this is when Damian Priest cashes in his Money in the Bank.
Yes, sir.
And he's going to go. Judgment Day is going to attack that bad back of Seth Rollins much more than Shinsuke did, and maybe write Seth Rollins off TV for a little bit. And Damian Priest is going to be the World Heavyweight Champion.
That's what 100%. I think this is the moment. That's what I was getting at. Is that I think Seth's going to take a hiatus because of his back. Shinsuke is going to move on, and I think Damian wins. And that's what I was getting at too with the Judgment Day kicking on all cylinders now. I think this is going to be the start of it. So Dirty Dom's that. He's the champ. Yep. So I could see shit is going to beat the bananas. I think he is. Yeah. I think 100% Damian. And that's why I think they'll keep the tag titles too. So Finn can still have a championship. It'll get rid of that briefcase. JD can join. I think this is the start of the beginning of the terror of the Judgment Day. So, and I think Priest is going to make a great champion. I think he'll headline Monday Night Raw pretty well. So I agree. There you go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and we'll probably get more matches too on SmackDown. That maybe we can do another video or something with our predictions of those two. Yeah, because there's only 5 matches, so there's got to be something coming up. Triple H doesn't like to have big cards, but they got to do something. They got to do a Grayson Waller effect or something else. So
yeah, or they might add Theory and Grayson Waller, and I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, all right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. That was our WWE day with 2 dudes with attitudes. Tune in tomorrow where we are going to talk all things AEW. And man, was it a big week. So we're going to talk about Wrestle Dream, the return of Adam Copeland, or not the return, but the debut of Adam Copeland, and what happened on Dynamite.
Is he a traitor? We'll find out.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that hug.
Yeah.
Ooh, Judas on my mind. And we can talk about that Christian Cage and Edge hug. We can talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to have some fun tomorrow. As always, I'm Mr. MWO, the dude of Wrestle Talk. Continue to subscribe, tune in, tell your friends about it. Thank you all for commenting, giving us support and love. We appreciate you. And with me, as always, is
Shooting Star Press. Our socials are right here on the screen. We're on TikTok and Instagram. Go hit us up. We're on YouTube. We're 6 away from 500, so keep the subscriptions coming. Subscribe. Download us and listen to us and rate us and review us on Apple and Spotify as well, because we're blowing up, and we're gonna take this thing to some new heights. We're gonna have some changes here in a few weeks, so it's good stuff. So just be on the lookout, and keep on tuning in.
Keep on keeping on. Let's go. Two dudes with attitudes. We out.
Let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday. Back to represent. Two dudes with attitudes. Yeah, here comes the main event. Every week